This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, but the real star of today's show has nothing to do with sim racing. So if you are 100% sim racing only, you might as well tune out. We have nothing for you here today, but we are coming off of a long off season, and I have to admit, over the last 3 months, since racing kind of died off in the off season, I haven't been doing as much online or sim racing as I normally do outside of testing products and doing what I do, just doing stuff here at the Simpit. But for my fun, what I do after hours usually was racing, and in the off season it tapers off. And it made me think, well, I'm a real gamer at heart, and I think most of you out there are also general gamers. We play games, and sim racing is totally something different for us. And sometimes I call them diversion games or, other hobbies or interests. But I do a lot of gaming, and it's not always sim racing. And I thought it would be a little bit fun to go over my 3 favorite games, at least for the last year. It changes from time to time. But I do have 3 games that this off season I found I was really drawn to, and each one has a different reason. They're not similar games at all. They're completely different genres, and that gave me a lot of off-track time to have fun with my gaming. So we are going to do it totally different. I'm going to be very casual today. I'm not going to do a super duper edit. This is not a review of any of these games we're about to talk about. I'm just going to talk about what they are, what they're all about, and why I enjoy playing them, and why I think maybe you might enjoy playing them. So the first game that we're going to talk about is it's a free game, which always makes things better. It's made by a company called Wargaming, and the game is called World of Warships. Now, these guys also make World of Planes, which I have to admit I've never played. They also make World of Tanks, which I wasn't as drawn to as I was World of Warships. So behind me, we have World of Warships. What I'm going to do, I play it in my sim rig. My R seat has a keyboard mouse tray that slides in real nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the camera over. I'm going to show you a few things about the game, maybe play a match or two, let you see some of that, and then we're going to move on to the next 2 games. The first one, or the next one, being Planet Coaster. If you like roller coasters, you like theme parks, you'll probably like this. It's sort of like a Sim City type game that is about building an amusement park. So we'll cover that next. And then finally, the last one, the redneck gene within me. You might not believe this, but one of my favorite games is Farm Simulator. So we're going to move on to that one for our third choice. But let's go ahead and take a quick look at World of Warships, and then we'll move on to the other ones. So World of Warships is a naval battle game. It's made by wargaming.net. They also make World of Tanks and World of Planes. I played tanks. I like the ships better. I haven't done the planes. I've heard it's okay. What I like, it is a free game. You do not have to spend any money at all to play it. And to be honest with you, even if you spend money, you really barely get any kind of advantages. The only thing you really get as an advantage of spending money is a slight acceleration of the game. You can't really buy any boats that are better than what the other guys have, so that's not really a concern. And you can play this game forever for free. I've been drawn in. I feel like I got my money's worth. I wanted some of the fancier ships, so I went ahead and gave them some money, bought 2 different ships. Anyway, let's do a quick, brief run through. This is not a review. I just want you to know why I play it, why I think it's free. It is a multiplayer game. You can play with your friends. My screen name is Sean_SP, like Simpit. Sean_SP. If you ever want to play, I usually play late night or later evening, Pacific Coast, Western USA. Anyway, let's do a quick, brief run through. It's a naval battle game, like I said. It's broken down into 5 different nations: Japan, USA, USSR, Germany, and UK. And that kind of doesn't matter other than the brand or types of boats, or ships I should say, that are available. Some countries have all the different types, and when I say types, you've got destroyers, which are little tin cans. They have torpedoes, very light but very fast moving and shooting guns, but they don't do a lot of damage. You have cruisers, which are bigger and not as fast, but still a pretty fast ship. They've got bigger guns that are still fast moving. They're really good at taking out destroyers, spotting the enemy. They usually will have torpedoes, some do, some don't. Then you've got battleships. These are the big boys. They are slow. Their guns turn slow, and they do massive damage. In fact, their guns move so slow, it's almost hard to hit a good moving destroyer. So the cruisers really want to be taking out the destroyers. The battleships want to be taking out cruisers, and the destroyers are doing their best to stay alive, spot the enemy, and usually take out some of the bigger targets because they're easier to hit with torpedoes. You also have aircraft carriers. I have to admit, I've never played the aircraft carrier. You kind of hide your ship, and you launch your planes, dive bombers, torpedo bombers, and fighters to deal with the enemy. The teams are broken up into 2 different sides, and it comes from a mix of all the different nations, but what they will do is make it pretty comparable. Certain amount of aircraft carriers, battleships, cruisers, and destroyers to make them equal teams. So that's a quick rundown on the game. When you look at each nation, like here I am, let's talk about some of the ships again. Let's go to USA, they have pretty much everything. In the middle here, you can actually see things that are in white. And if they have a check, it means I actually own the ship. And they go from the top down to the bottom, with the top being level 1, the easiest to get to. Takes no experience points, you get them. You need to earn experience points in order to purchase the higher level ships. So it's sort of a natural way. By the time you see somebody running around in a level 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 level boat, ship, they've been playing a while, so they're probably pretty good. When you play those lower ranked tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 level ships, usually you're playing against slightly lower competition, or people are just playing with some of those other boats, ships. So that's about it. I mean, you can do things like camouflage your ship and upgrade your your ship as well, and all of that. So let's really get down to the fighting. I'm going to start things off just really easily, going with a level 3 destroyer. Just to show you, I'm going to do a quick camouflage on it. So we can do a camouflage. You have to earn or buy camouflages. We'll go ahead, and this one actually decreases my visibility, so we'll mount it. There you go. And then in addition to that, you can put signals. These are also earned, and you put them on and they give you certain bonuses. Like, for example, this one here is will reduce my flooding time. This one, on the other hand, will cause flooding. This one, Liquidator. So I'm going to go ahead and mount those flags, and now I'm ready to battle. As soon as I hit battle, it will put me into the matchmaking service that it has available. And it happens very quick. And again, it's matching up a certain amount of destroyers, cruisers, battleships, and aircraft carriers, sort of by the weight, because some battleships are bigger than others. Anyway, and each ship does have different pros and cons, and you'll learn that as you get better at the game. So here we have the launch screen, and you can see the teams. 2 teams broken up into 12 players. My team has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 battleships, it looks like. Actually, I'll double check that on the other screen. But basically, you can also see, well, one guy's got a team here, but everybody's on their own. This is just a 24 random players. You can do team battles. I haven't done that, but that requires building up a team and getting into some of their competitions that they do. Let's go ahead and start the battle. It's going to be very hard for me to talk and be good at battling in a destroyer. You have to concentrate. This game has a lot of strategy involved in it, and if you're not paying attention, you're just going to die. What you have here is the launch. Our team on one side, their team on the other side. We each have a zone. Ours is blue, theirs is red, and we are both defending our zone and going after their zone, and at the same time trying to kill all of them. We have 5 battleships. They have 5 battleships. We have 2 cruisers. They have 3. We have 5 destroyers. They have 4. That's the way it worked out. Now again, destroyers, I get out and spot things, but I don't want to go in harm's way. So you can see we have a bunch of destroyers. I'm looking out for him. That guy over there in one. And I can also pull up this screen here, which gives you a good layout of the land, of what's really going on. And you can see our formation. You gotta want to pay attention to what the other guys on your team are doing at the same time as what you're doing. And I have guns, or cannons I should say, and I also have torpedoes. And they each take a certain amount of time to reload, and they both need to be aimed in the direction before I can fire. So that gives you that. I can use my mouse wheel to zoom in and out with my guns. I can also, if I'm in an all the way back position, just hit the shift button and it'll take me right in. I'm using W, A, S, and D to steer the boat. And I am using the mouse to change the view, which is linked to the guns. Now I have... Enemy force sighted on the horizon. Alright, so you just heard that. That's a destroyer coming around the point over there, all on his lonesome. He is outside of my range. There are circles over here that you can see with my range for my guns and my torpedoes. Everybody on my team is being baited that way. I'm going to kind of stick around this middle zone and protect the middle of the map. I'm going to bring this up. I don't usually bring the map view up this much, but I'm doing it just so you can see what's going on. I probably should bring that up more. So I do have two types of armament. I have HE, high explosives, and AP, which are armor piercing. AP set things on fire. The HE tend to set the boats on fire. They don't do as much damage, but fire can burn down a ship, so it creates a secondary danger to them. Armor piercing are really good at doing more damage. Okay, I'm going to switch to my torpedoes. I've got an enemy you can see in that gray zone. He's being very careful. I've got another ship right there that I do have to kind of look out for. He's going that way. We're safe. Now I can switch to my guns and also fire at him if I can see him, which I cannot. I'm just kind of waiting tight. I don't want to expose myself because of how weak my ship is. Now I'm waiting on my torpedoes. It turned yellow, and that means that I've launched both torpedoes from that side, and I'm waiting on reload. And this particular ship only has 2 banks of 2. Oh, here he comes, here he comes. Switch to guns and get ready to fire. I hit him with one of the torpedoes. Come on, guns, reload. Come on, guns, reload. Waiting on torpedoes to reload, too.
Torpedoes to start. Torpedoes astern.
There's his torpedoes coming at me. But I moved, sucker. Come on, guns. My guns are really slow to reload.
Torpedoes astern.
Another batch of torpedoes, no worries.
Torpedoes astern.
He's gone. Beautiful. Beautiful. And that's how it works. Now we got another boat, a cruiser coming in. He's 8.2 kilometers coming up the middle. He may or may not even know where I am. So if he's going to dare come through this middle, I'm going to make sure he pays the price. Or do my best. Meanwhile, you can still see what's going on the other front. Big battle going up at the other end. Now, I didn't launch more torpedoes at that destroyer as he got close, because there was no way I was going to hit him. We were fast turning, you know, and so he made the mistake of spending time launching torpedoes that weren't going to hit me, or very rare they were going to hit me, and instead of going guns. I went guns, but the real advantage was that I had a cruiser backing me up. So that was really well played by me and that guy. All right, there is a big, fat battleship right there. He is still not within being able to see me, and I'm going to be able to launch a couple of torpedoes at him. I did one right at that gray area shows like his projected. I'm going to blow smoke. I'll tell you about that in a second. But that gray showed you his projected at his current speed and heading. So I put one right on target, and then I put one just inside of that in case he tried to avoid him by turning or slowing down. The second ones might hit him. Then I blew smoke. Smoke creates cover, and I didn't want anyone to see me, so I went ahead and did that. I'm just sort of defending the middle still. I see I have a battleship coming in from behind me now, too. And those did completely miss, by the way. He overran them. I'm going to give him one more batch. Someone detected me, but I can go right back into that smoke cloud. You can see the outline of where it was. All right, I launched two, and now what I want to do is I'm going to switch to this direction. I'm going to use X to make him my target by pointing my aim at him. That's for my torpedoes, which I'm waiting to reload. 22 seconds to reload. Now he is just about to get into the range of being able to see me, by the way. He now can see me. Now, he's got slow guns, so to an extent, I'm almost just taking attention away from him. Oh, you can see my other torpedoes hit him. Beautiful. I got him with 4 torpedoes. That was awesome. And here comes another destroyer at me. I'm in danger now. I got a lot of people viewing me, and I'm stuck out in the middle. As long as they can see me, I don't mind firing my guns at him. Oh, I'm on fire. I hit R to repair.
The ship is on fire. Critical engine damage.
I gotta keep my eyes ahead as far as where I'm steering the
Sir.
ship. But at the same time, I am trying to keep wiggling, zigzagging, making myself hard as possible to hit.
Critical engine damage.
At some point, if I'm just convinced I'm gonna die, it might be in my best interest to launch some torpedoes. Oh, come on, boat. Come on, and hope I can get something on somebody. Oh, come on. I'm gonna die. That's it. Oh. Alright, but we did some damage. I didn't get that kill on that first destroyer, but it was darn close, and I didn't get the kill on that battleship, but I did hurt him rather badly. You can see that's the ship. So now, after the battle, while I'm waiting for things to finish, I can actually, I hit the shift button and that gave me this view. And it's really cool, except for when you get killed on fire, because you're left with those flames forever. But I can actually go around and watch what's going on
I owe you one.
post-battle. So right here you can see the bad guys over there, that Wyoming that I had hit. Someone's launching torpedoes at him. There's another one of their, that's a sunken boat. Right there, that is one of their battleships that is being hit by our guys. Up at the top, you can see the score. We are the blue team. We have a lot more ships left, so hopefully my role contributed to what might be the win for our team. This will be it. Alright. So this is the end of battle screen, which is what we were waiting around for. And it shows you how many... Their denominations are really funny. You get these 3 different ways of getting paid. You get money, you get silver experience points, and you get gold experience points. And those are what you use to buy higher level ships. And you can see that I did 36,000 points or total damage. I got 5 hits with my guns, 5 hits with my torpedoes, 1 incapacitation, and caused 4 different floods in the ships. Then you got the team overall score, and you can see where you stand. I was the 3rd best on our team, so despite getting taken out pretty early, I did fairly well. Alright, so you can see, I mean, it's strategy, it's point and shoot and aim like a shooter type game. It's got cool sounds with the explosions and whatnot. By polar opposites, and I'll get my butt kicked doing this, I'm going to jump in one of the ships that I bought. This is the Tirpitz. It's a level 8 battleship from Germany. It's a beautiful ship. That's why you might want to buy a premium ship. It's no better than a level 8 that you can earn. The highest level boat I have that I've earned is a level 7 destroyer. But anyway, let's just jump into a battle real quick with this one, just so you can see its comparison. So here's our battle as it sets up. We've got 2 Tirpitz in this one on our team, 2 on their team. A Bismarck, so we're dead even. Bayern. Then we have our first division. We've got an Edinburgh level 8 versus a New Orleans level 8. Hipper, another Edinburgh, but on their team. Anyway, you can see it works its way down from battleships. There are no aircraft carriers down to destroyers. And that's how it plays out. You can see in advance the mission. This is an A, B, C, D zone, so instead of defending our base and them having their base, it's our team on one side, their team on the other side, and 4 different zones that you can capture and hold. If you hold the zones, you'll get enough points, you can win. You eliminate all your opponents, and you can win. Because I'm on camera. Oh, here we go. Alright, so there is our big giant battleship. Now in that last game, I had to really be watching what I was doing, and it was so hard to do that and talk and be strategic. And it does. You have to follow what your other guys are doing. You have to have an overall game plan. You're only talking by text over here that you type back and forth. But usually you're going by your gut instinct and what the other guys on the team are doing. Looking at the little map, again, I can see the range of my big cannons, 21.4. My visibility is 15.9, which means before I start firing, I can actually start shooting some people. The longer the range your guns are, the more inaccurate they are, though. So that's always to be taken into consideration. Got to look out for my other ships, other teammates. You don't want to run into them. You get a penalty for that. And we have a certain amount of our guys, it looks like, going to the left. So I'm going to turn left, but I am slow, and I don't turn fast. Somebody can see me already. It's my opponent, the other Turpits on the other side, but I'm obstructed by the mountain. When I'm firing the cannons, I need to lead the target by its speed, its trajectory, and its distance. Oh, I gotta be careful not to run into that guy. Look at how much bigger my ship is than his, by the way. Alright, here we go. I'm just gonna fire one. I have 4 massive cannons, but I just want to kind of get an idea on where he was before I go doing a full melee. You can fire your guns one at a time or all together. And again, you're always waiting. If you move where you're looking, it takes time to reload. You always want to keep your eye on the map to see where you are and where your teammates are and where the enemy is. You don't want to go running into trouble all on your own. Excuse me. The 3 of us are in this little tight pack, which is usually pretty good because it means we can isolate a target. I'm hoping that cruiser is going after the destroyer out there because his guns work great at that. And I'm going to keep firing at that battleship in hopes that I can do some damage to him. I'm starting to take damage. Now, I don't have torpedoes, but I do have other things on this ship. I have a plane that can go up and give me additional range for spotting, which I don't need. I also have a repair button, so you can see my damage is in yellow and gray. If I hit the repair button, which I'll do right now, it will repair that gray area. You do have incentive for repairing. Hey, you don't want to be too close to death or everyone's going to shoot you. General rule of thumb is you want to shoot the weakest thing out there first to get rid of their guns. Now I'm only firing armor piercing at a boat of that size. I am missing a lot, by the way. I'm having a hard time really super concentrating while talking. But that's okay. What I also love is the sound of this gun. Yes, I'm on fire. Someone hit me with a HE.
The ship is on fire.
I hit repair, and that repair is the R button. And that one actually just puts out fires or floods. And then you're waiting on it to reload and become usable again.
Problem solved, sir.
Versus the T one, which fixes that area. And I'm waiting on that to reload. And I only have 2 of those, well, 3 total. Torpedoes in the water. Oh, they died out. Oh, someone's hitting me. I'm getting pretty hurt. I'm not doing very well at doing this while talking. I'm not really paying attention to where I am. Definitely not paying attention to what's going on. There's another turbines coming in on the back. do have different levels of armor in different areas. Knowing the opponent's ships, knowing your ship is the difference between a newbie like me and the pros.
Enemy destroyer sighted.
The other thing is you can use these islands that are out there as cover, you know. There is more strategy than just shooting. You know, there's putting people and keeping... Oh, I just got hit big. I gotta look out for that other ship at the same time, you know. I'm waiting on my guns to reload, waiting on my guns to turn when I'm making a quick turn like that. I hit T again, get that section repaired. He's dead. Yay, finally. I am going after big boats right now. They take a lot of damage. We'll clear that island and hit him. That'd be nice. Nowhere near me. I'm like way out in no man's land. Someone. There are cool sound effects when you get hit. Oh, get from that side now. Son of a you know what. On fire again.
The ship is on fire.
R for repair. Oh, I'm getting hit by everything. Torpedoes in the water. I gotta make sure I don't get hit by them, hopefully. Lots of torpedoes in the water. One of them got me.
Whole breach. We're taking on water quickly.
Uh-oh. We are in danger, Will Robinson. Run away!
Enemy battleship detected. Enemy destroyer.
See, what I'm not doing is keeping a good eye on where my shells are going so that I can adjust my aim accordingly. Alright, what do we got? I got him. I'm looking at the map, looking for a different target because I'm clearing the mountain from where I was. He's gonna get hit with some torps. Boom. Waiting on my guns to turn. Oh, he's dead. No one left any meat on the carcass for me. It's a good fight. But you know, when you pick the higher level ships, it ends up being a much tougher fight.
Enemy cruiser detected.
Wasted shot right there.
Enemy destroyer.
Alright, I'm going to use my last T to repair my ship. I'm out of those. Should call that fix my ship versus repair. I don't know.
Enemy cruiser sighted.
Oh, look at him. Look at Mr. Sneaky. See how he's coming straight at me? It makes it much harder to hit than when you give them a broadside to shoot at. But it also means he only has 2 forward guns.
The enemy team is taking the lead.
Come on. Get him.
Enemy battleship detected.
Uh-oh.
Enemy cruiser detected. Enemy battleship sighted. Enemy destroyer sighted.
I'm getting lucky to shooting through that.
The enemy is about to win.
Enemy battleship detected. Enemy destroyer detected. Enemy destroyer sighted.
I am the last hope. Run! They're gonna win on points. They own all of the zones. Ooh, I hit his citadel. That's a much more damaging hit. That's, talk about a lucky shot. So I'm the last guy. They have, gosh, they have 6 boats left. 7 boats left.
The ship is on fire.
Come on, guns. Come on, guns.
The ship is on fire. Problem solved, sir. The ship is on fire.
Oh, that's about gonna do it. Come on, guns. Come on, guns. Just give me something. Come on.
Enemy cruiser detected.
I'm gonna hit a mountain, too. I hit a mountain. They won on points. I don't think I died. That's cool. All right, so you can see I got 139,000 in money. That's actually doubled, really, because of my premium status. When you buy a boat, it gives you premium status. That gets back to the if you spend money. And I got an award also for Dreadnought, Heroic Individual, for basically taking more damage than my ship is supposed to take. Anyway, team score. You can see I was, mid-pack, so not so great. Anyway, that gives you an idea. The one thing we didn't get to see was the aircraft carriers and ships, planes being out there, but I've never done it myself. Each ship has different anti-aircraft capabilities. Sometimes you're in a boat or a ship that you don't want planes out there, sometimes you're out there in a ship that you know can take care of it. So anyway, that gives you an idea. World of Warships. I do love this game. I play it a lot. I play it a little bit almost every night sometimes. Again, Sean_SP is my name. If you ever want to play, just find me, send me a message, and we'll hook up and do some battles together. So let's go ahead and set up the next game, and we'll show you another game I like to play a lot. Alright, so here is my next guilty pleasure, I'll call it, and it is a simulator. I've played a lot of SimCity, a lot of SimWorld, all those types of games, management system type games. This one just happens to be highly graphical, and you are administering a theme park. So over here on the left, you have the different types of game modes they have in Planet Coaster with career, sandbox, and challenge. In challenge mode, you get a big open land and some money and some various challenges like certain happiness or build a certain coaster, whatever. Sandbox is just open, you can do whatever you want. And then career mode, which is where I have my most fun. This, I don't even think it has a multiplayer aspect, and it's not why I would play this game. In career mode, you have 5 different levels. Each level has 3 different missions or scenarios. So let's just start off at the top real quick. I don't want to take too long doing it. I'm just going to give you a rundown on this and why I enjoy playing it. One thing I like is this is the kind of game where you start it off, you build some stuff, and then you can actually just walk away. So if I'm doing other projects in the house, if I'm making dinner, if I'm whatever, I can do this and either hit pause, go do other stuff, or just leave it running. You need money to build parks. You need money to build the roller coasters, the rides, the shops. So you have a bunch of different shops, whether it be food, drink, or hats and balloons and stuff. So all of this stuff can make you money, and you have a lot of scenery you can place to make it more aesthetic and beautiful. Anyway, and each different scenario that we're waiting for the first, this is where you start off in the game. Every scenario has its own objectives. So, and they get progressively harder. And I'll show you the mission I'm stuck on right now, and I'll show you why I'm stuck on it. I'll probably use that as an excuse to show you roller coaster building, which, again, come on. Again, this is a pretty simple thing. Most of it is, well, it's all mouse and keyboard. Use the mouse for all the various different viewing options and selecting things on the screen. Alright, so here we are. Pirate Battle is the name of the first mission. And up here on the left, I can actually pull up the scenario. Whoops. So, here, Pirate Battle. Vast me hearties and welcome to Planet Coaster. Shiver those timbers and take charge of this explosive pirate park. Complete ride construction, draw in the crowds, and give your guests a swashbuckling good time. Okay, whatever. You know, it is what it is. I'm not going to try to say it's the most sophisticated game on earth. Anyway, you have 3 different challenges, easy, medium, and hard. The first one, we'll call it Bronze Easy. Attract 800 guests, build 2 rides. And it shows you that I have 662 guests and 1 ride. Medium goal, attract 900 guests, build 4 rides. And then hard, attract 1,100 guests and acquire $15,000. So, let's get going. So we have to build rides. And before we even get to that real quick, here is the park they give me. I have 1 roller coaster here, and it's a small wood roller coaster. I have 1 ride, as they put it, instead of coasters. You have coasters, track rides, shops and facilities, scenery, and buildings. So anyway, here is 1 ride, and they call it Rocktopus. So each ride has different details about it over here on the right-hand side. What people think of it, you know, its ratings in terms of excitement, fear, and nausea. You have finances, you can raise or lower the price. You can change the color. So if I don't like the red octopus and I want to make it a green octopus, I can do that. Load time, a bunch of different variables that you can change for each particular ride. And different types of rides will have different things you can adjust. And here's my roller coaster. And, you know, well, we'll get to riding a roller coaster in a second. So let's get to our objectives. First things first, we have 1 ride, and they use the word ride because they're rides and roller coasters, right? So we need to build, let's go back to that, we need to build 2 rides. So essentially, I can come to the rides tab, which I do have rides available. If it's blue, it means I have it available. If it's grayed out like that, it means I do not. And I have 5 different rides to choose from, one of them being Rocktopus, which I already have. So let's just go ahead and pick Insanity. I'm not going to worry about things too much. Here is the ride. And on rides, they are pre-made. So all I have to do is place it somewhere. And I can use Z to pivot it around and turn it around. And I can use Shift button to actually raise and lower it to the ground. So let's go ahead and just put this on the ground and put it right there. Now, in order to make it actually work, I have to connect it to the existing paths that are already in my park. So I have to place an entrance for the ride. I have to place an exit for the ride. And I have to make a path. And I can change the color of my path if I want. And boom, that's the end of building a ride. Then I would need to adjust its price. They want $7. I'm going to charge, whoops, $10. And I'm going to open the ride. And as soon as I hit pause, you'll see a little confetti party. Boom. And now the ride is open. And my guests can now go in and get on Insanity. You'll also see, if we come over here to the objectives, that I now have a check mark next to build 2 rides. Now my guests are growing. You can see that number going here. You can see it down here as well. And there are a lot of things to think about. You have park management, and this is, again, I talk about it being a simulation. You have all this for just your overview. You have finances. You can take out a loan. You can do research on, like, let's say I want to have more roller coasters. I can research that. I can start a marketing campaign on television. I can hire a janitor, place him anywhere, and give him tasks if I want. Hire a mechanic. That'll make my rides operate if they break down. I can hire a theme park person, like a character that'll run around and make people happy. So I can do things like that to work on my guest happiness. Getting to the guests, I have a way of looking at them. They have, happiness, energy, food, beverage, bathroom, and first aid requirements. Those are all things I can place shops and facilities and more entertainers and more rides. So, again, getting back to the objectives real quick. I need to build 4 rides to get the medium, so I might as well start building more rides. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. And we'll build a classic Venetian carousel like you would find at any theme park in the world. And we'll put it over here in the dark because, it's an old ride. Who cares, really? But and we'll place an entrance just like we did before. Place an exit. In that case, my exit didn't reach the main path. And, oh, I told you we could change color. So we'll make this one an orange cue. Oh, there we go. We just must have got our 800th guest. And now we have our bronze achievement. So we'll keep making this path, connect it to the real one. In this case, we didn't reach it. So we're going to use a natural path to match what's over here already. And there you go. And now I just need to adjust the price. They want $3.50. I'll charge $5. Open that ride. And now that means we have our 3rd ride. So if we go back to objectives, we'll see 3rd ride taken care of. We need 1 more to get that silver medal. So let's go ahead and build another ride. And this one will build Wild Blue. And again, I can research. So if I only have 5 rides available right now. But if I go to park management again, go back to research, I can develop, and you'll get different options. This thing can be filled up with different options, but I can do a family ride and develop that, and over time, it will give me one of those rides. So let's go ahead and build that Wild Blue. Again, I can spin it around using Z. It's really simple. This is not hard. The achievements can be hard, but this is just mission 1. I'm not that worried about it. So there's the entrance. There's the exit. We're going to connect the path. This time we're going to go blue because we're Wild Blue, name of a ride. I can wind it around a little longer. Whoop. And as long as it connects, it'll work. Oh, built our 4th ride. There you go. Silver achievement because it means that we also must have... Yep, we had 900 guests now as well. So we are making our way towards that gold medal match. Admittedly, I've played this mission before. It's a little more difficult. So here's our exit path for... Whoops. Wild Blue. And now we just need to adjust the price. They want 9. I'll charge 11. Turn that ride on, and now our park has the 4 rides we need. Now, we haven't placed any shops, facilities, or any of that kind of stuff, just to give you an idea what it's like. Here are a bunch of pre-made ones. So we have a sort of a fairy tale theme going in our park. So let's just say we wanted to have a fairy tale themed drink stand right here at Wild Blue. I can go to drinks. I can pick the fairy tale one. Will it fit right here? You gotta make it so it connects to that path. And there it is. It's gonna be a little tight, but I'm not gonna, let's put it somewhere with a little more space. We'll put it right here. And there you go. And now I've opened up that, and now I have a drink station. Whoops. I'm using the mouse wheel and mouse commands to drag around. There are my drinks. And just like the rides, I can adjust. This is a milkshake shop. And I can adjust. They want $5 a milkshake. I can be greedy. Let's go 7. And it's open, and there we go. So that's placing a shop. And that was one that had scenery already attached. I could also do it without scenery. So I could go to custom. Let's do a hamburger, well, food. Let's do a hot dog squad. And this time it puts it just in more of a box shape. And I could decorate it later with other scenery. Or I can just leave it bare, and it was a lot cheaper to do it that way than with scenery. Money is an issue in this game at a lot of scenarios. Adjusting my prices, 14 for the jumbo dog, 10 for a regular. And now we have food and beverage. That'll make our guests happier as well. Last thing I'm going to show you is riding a roller coaster. And then I'm going to go to somewhere else to show you how to build a coaster. But the reason I'll use this one is it's short. So why go on a super long one? This is our wood. Oh, let's get on now. It's going up. I do have different views. This is in the car. Or I could go to more cinematic type views. And that's cool too. But let's go ahead and stay in the car. You'll see the characters will play along a little bit. And they will put their hands up. So here we go, down the hill. Hear the sound effects. So that's riding a coaster. And I showed you that one because it's short and easy to ride real quick. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of incredible scenery on that ride. And when you build it, it's on you to put your own scenery in. They don't come that nice. I mean, that was like Disneyland quality, to be honest with you. Let me switch cars real quick. Whoop. Let me switch trains. Go to the cinematic view, you know, and just look around this park. All of this stuff was placed by them. Some of it, you know, stick by stick or plank by plank, tile by tile. Some of it is pre-made. But it is really cool. I like the game. There's a lot of strategy. And again, right now, I can just sit back and let this park finish out and wait for that gold objective, which we've got 1,100 guests now. We just need to accrue $15,000. I could keep building rides, which might accelerate that. Or I could accelerate time and just wait it out. But I could build more rides and achieve it, but I'm not going to worry about that because I think you get the gist of what's going on here. So, real quick, let's exit this mission. And I'm going to fire up a later career. This is one I've been struggling with, and you'll even see why. This one's called King Coaster. I'm going to load one of my pre-done parks. Alright, so here's King Coaster, and I will say, sometimes you spend a lot of time focusing on scenery and making it look really nice, and that takes a lot of time and a lot of artistic ability. On this, I've been really regimented, I will say, in this one. I am laying out for efficiency and using just trees as scenery because the whole goal here was to build these like massive roller coasters. So when you look through my objectives, which I've done most of, it was coaster, build 2. Build another, build another, build another, and build another. And these last few were ones that were really tough to build. I mean, and building a coaster is not difficult. Building them to achieve the excitement and the nausea and fear ratings that they want are difficult. So anyway, I mean, like this here was a coaster that I built custom. They didn't have one that I could use in there. When I look at coasters that I could just, you know, a pre-made coaster. Here is their version of the same type of coaster that would have been far from the requirements, and it's nowhere near what I've built there. I'll give you a similar example, just another part, one of the scenarios that I was trying to achieve. This is my version of Top Fuel Dragster right there, which maybe we'll take a ride on that one. Well, they have a version of that that looks like that and did not come near achieving the objectives of the mission. So, here, we'll give you a quick ride on this one just because it's a different type. And again, I don't spend a ton of time riding the coasters, not nearly as much time as I do playing the scenarios, playing the game. Again, you have to choose the prices, manage the staff, manage the rides. Here we go. It's a electromagnetic launch type coaster. So that just gives you an idea what's going on. And the last thing I really want to show you on this game, because I could go on forever, and I play a lot of time with this one. It works well for just hitting pause, going off, doing something else, coming back. All right, if you need to, like in this scenario, you have to build your own coasters. That's a big part of this game as well. And I could call this a sim. It's a simulation. By the time you factor in all the things you have to do to manage the scenarios, manage the game, it is very much a simulation. I'm a little tight quartered here, I'm not going to worry about that, but right there I've picked a steel coaster and a looping steel coaster, and now I can build the coaster. I can adjust the length of what I'm trying to build. This represents a chain lift, like how the coaster goes up, so we're going to go ahead and give that lift, which is one of the other things I can adjust. And every time I click it at that length, it'll build to a certain height. And then I can change the angle and round off the top. Alright? Gives you an idea. Now, to go down, I want to put it on regular track, not lift. And let's go ahead and take a dive at a 45-degree angle, which isn't very aggressive. And then we can even kind of kick it in more. Oh, let's not go too extreme. Let's go 67. And then kind of bottom out. This is a big coaster we're building, by the way. And I'm not even going to finish the coaster entirely, because I just want you to get an idea. So that's how you do that, and then I can come up and you could just do a little, you know, hump, you know, make it so they get a little air time coming over the top of that one. Once you're building, you can also turn, so I can now make it turn back the other way. Probably going way too fast for that, but you can do it. And when you're done, you'll get a ranking based on the fear, the excitement, and the nausea of whatever you've built. So I'm not going to describe everything I do. You can also tilt it, so it's not just left and right, but it's also twisting. You can, let me zoom in so you can really see what's going on here. You can twist the track, so it's a banked turn. So yeah, there are a lot of things you can do when it comes to building the coasters, and what I built here is not safe or fun, just so you know. Actually, let me just delete real quick because I want to show you one other thing and then just get out of here. This isn't a review, this is just something I do for fun. And, you know, I wonder what kind of games you guys play for fun. I really do. I wonder, as a sim racer, what other kind of games do you find fascinating or interesting or, you know, playable? So anyway, as we're going along here, the other thing is you do have pre-done things. I mean, I could roll out my own loop. I could roll out my own barrel roll just by using the angle and turn buttons and elevation, or they do have pre-configured. So there's something like that. I can tell you right now, at the altitude I'm at, my train would never make it there. So let's just dip down, and then just so you can see, let's go ahead and put in a non-inverted. No, let's get it inverted at least. We'll just put in a simple loop. What the hell? I just want you to see what's going on. So loop, and then we'll do a... Nah, it's not going to fit that there. Okay, you can see if it turns red, it's not going to work. We'll just do a barrel roll. Okay, the reason I'm doing that is because now I wanted to show you, you can actually test the ride, and we can actually go along for the ride. So if you're working on a coaster, now, I have a live park, everybody's moving around. If I propel this coaster into my park, it will cause disarray. So you don't necessarily want to do what I'm doing here. There are other ways to test it without going through it. But anyway, we'll take a real quick ride on what we just built, even though it's obscenely wrong. We'll be going way too fast. But I just want you to get an idea of how the game works, and this is the last aspect of the game, beyond scenery, which I'm not even going to show you. You saw some of the scenery that was out there. And when you start some parks, it's just a bare slate. So if you wanted something that extravagant, you're going to have to build mountains and valleys and fill it with water and place trees and build buildings and anything you can imagine. And these artists are some of the best. Again, like I said, some of the scenarios, you're riding the coasters and looking at it, and it looks like Disneyland quality. So here we go. We're going to now make the drop, and this will kind of complete our roller coaster, planet coaster, other diversion game. Way too fast for doing this. You can see the ratings over here, what's going on. Way too high a number. Now we're going to go for that loop. Whoa, crash back. Didn't do a barrel roll, and then we're going to crash. And that's because we didn't complete our ride. And you can see the cars are now careening off into the park. So hopefully they don't run into too many people. Anyway, that gives you an idea of Planet Coaster. I really could go on and on giving you the super details of it. But again, this isn't a review. I do recommend the game, and you can get it on Steam. I didn't mention Wargaming. It's at wargaming.net, World of Warships. And now we're going to switch gears completely for my third favorite diversion or off-season game title. Let me just get that set up and we'll show you that one. So my final diversion game is one that might shock some of you out there, and I'll tell you right off the bat, my brother makes fun of me for even playing it, but it definitely shows you the redneck gene that I have within, and the game is Farm Simulator 2017. And, you know, this is a simulation, and you could hook up a steering wheel. I've done it in the past and drive. I end up doing this at my regular computer. I'm usually playing this game even more so than the other two while maybe watching a movie or doing other projects around the house. It's farming. I mean, you are watching crops grow at times. So, you know, it's not the most exciting game. And I think the reason I get into it is a lot like the Planet Coaster. It's a SimCity type thing. It's a management system with some activity. So instead of just managing stats, let's go ahead and get this fired up while I just tell you a little more. I admit I have played a lot more of Farm Simulator 2015. This is the newer version, Farm Simulator 2017. And the only reason I haven't played more of this one is, quite honestly, I've been very immersed in World of Warships and Planet Coaster. So this is my third runner-up. So basically, I'm gonna make this one really quick. I know this has been a long story, but here is my farm, and I do own this farm, and like the other games we played today, it's all keyboard and mouse. I'm using WAS and D to move around, and this is a pickup truck that I own on my farm, and I can just kind of drive it around. There's not a lot to do here as far as driving around, and here's one of the fields. I own 3 fields, and you can buy more fields. So just because you own 3 doesn't mean you're done. You are planting, you're cultivating, you're planting, you're fertilizing, you're harvesting the crops, you're taking it to market, you're getting paid, you're buying more equipment, more fields or plots to be able to grow even more things. You really cannot win or lose the game. You can go bankrupt, so if you were not efficient. So that's my pickup, and you use that for general things, and then you can cycle around. There are a bunch of different vehicles that I do own. So this is my combine, and I can use my mouse to scroll around and take a look at it, and I can zoom in and see. And then, I can do things like operate the machinery. So here I can move that pipe in because that's when I unloaded it into my trailer. I can turn on the combine. Let's go ahead and do that. You'll see that thing go. And in this case, what I can do is actually hire a worker. And I'm just going to do that so we can kind of watch the combine do its thing. And this worker will just keep doing it. Now I'm doing wheat. Wheat's byproduct is sort of straw. So it's not only getting the wheat into the combine, which I have to unload into the tractor and then take to my silo or to market, but it's also dropping the straw, which I can pick up and either bale, or it also has livestock. So if you're making silage or stuff for your cows, you can use that kind of stuff. So you are even using the byproduct when you're looking at farming. And I'm no farmer, but it has a lot of the aspects of real farming built into it. Here's my cultivator, and same thing. Certain machines I can actually hire the worker to do. So I'm going to go ahead, and the cultivator is down. I'm going to go ahead and hire a worker on that one. And then we'll go here. This is my seeder, and I'm planting new crop of wheat. And same thing, let's go ahead and turn on the sower, they call it. We've turned it on, and now we'll hire a worker and let him start doing it. And you'll see the ground changes as he works. And then here's my tractor with the trailer that has that full load of wheat. So I can now take this and take this to either to market and get paid, and I'll show you a little bit about the finances in a second here. And unlike the coaster, I'm not going to have to build a coaster or do anything too fancy to show you the gist of this game. I have my money up here on the right, $18,000. I have fuel. I would have to fuel my truck if I'm running out. You have a little mini map down here. Whoa, don't want to run into things. There's really not damage in the game, so if I do run into a tree, there's really no consequence other than having to back up. I think you can flip your equipment, and I did get a tractor stuck in a lake, and I couldn't get it out, and I had to sell the tractor, which is my only recourse, and I lost a little bit of money. So now there's that, and now I have it so that I can tip out the back. Oh, I didn't do a very good job. I'm not straight, so let's try that again. You can, on this particular trailer, I can dump sideways or in the back. We'll just do a back dump on this one. Get it on. So this is my silo where I store all my goods, and it's kind of manually done. So if I were to put a different crop in here, it wouldn't matter. And let's unload. Here we go. And so I'm not getting paid right now. This is just going into storage, which if I pull up this is the map, and it shows you all the various different crops and things that are going on. It also shows you different plots of land that I might be able to buy. This shows you the money. So across the top, I have all the different crops that I could be growing and how much I get paid at all the various different places that buy certain crops. And so you will sometimes store things if the prices are down. Sometimes you'll take it in if the prices are out. So right now, if I had a bunch of these soybeans, it looks like I could get $14.61 if I take it to Maple Field Mill. So if I go back to the map, I'm here in the middle in this particular map, and Maple Field Mill is over there. So it'll affect where you do take your crops. This shows you my different equipment, all the different equipment I have, how long I've owned it, and what it's cost me to run it. Buildings, livestock, statistics, just overall statistics on the game, settings and whatnot, different crops that I have and what's going on. This is your basics. So it tells you the basics of how to use doing the plow, and the whole process of farming. I'm trying to remember. All right, let's go back to farming real quick. So now I can have an empty trailer, and I can take it back over to the field. And I do have multiple fields, so as I'm working this one, I do have other crops growing, and you kind of have to keep an eye on what's going on with your crops because they will go bad. So here are my 3 fields that I own default with the mission. This one's in like its early stage of growing. This one here, you can see when it turns brown, that's ready to harvest. But this side of the field isn't quite done. It's going to need another cycle. So I can wait a little bit longer and finish working this field over here before I worry about it. So the other thing, right now I'm still poor. I don't have a ton of tractors, and you might even have to do a little cycling. Like right now, I can detach this trailer and then swing around, and this is the one that picks up the straw, which is also full. And I need to get back to unload that harvester. So what I can do here is, oh, I missed. Gotta line it up a little better than that. There we go. And now I can go unload the straw, or hay. Take that to my barn, and this one I'll get paid. If I just drop it here and I don't bale it, I will get paid as I dump it. So you can see my money is going up. It's not worth as much as your crop, but it is worth money. So I just made $1,000 essentially. And now I'm going to take this back, and now I need to get back in time to unload that harvester combine before it fills up. Otherwise my worker will just sit there on the clock, sitting in that truck getting paid. When you hire a worker, you do have to pay them. So now I'll just drop this, switch back to my trailer, and now I'm ready. Now he's still not filled up, so I do have time still. So that guy, like I mentioned, he works for me. Now if I come down here and I cut him off, he's just going to stop. And I'm still paying him. He's still on the salary. That combine's still burning gas because he's obstructed. So it is on me to make sure my workers are doing their jobs well. And in the meantime, what I really could be doing is picking up that hay that's on the ground. So you can see where the combine's already been, these rows. And if I let that guy bring that cultivator into that straw, then he will actually end up turning it into the dirt, and it'll no longer have any value. So what I can do here is, again, come back here, drop off my trailer, and now this is a forage wagon, they call it, and it picks up that hay on the ground. Now I have to turn it on, and I have to lower the pickup. You'll see right here, when I do this, it actually puts that down on the ground, and now it's going to start picking up straw. And it is best to do this in a row. It's a little more efficient. So you can see that guy with the cultivator is definitely getting close. And at this point, this is really what it's like. This is what you're doing the entire time. And I can tell you there's more going on. There really isn't. Like I said, I really couldn't lose the game unless I just really blew it with my crops and didn't grow anything and started running out of money. That could be a problem. I mean, my goal, ultimately, my equipment here is all very small time. And, the goal would be to get a bigger farm, have bigger plots of land, and start stepping up into the bigger tractors and combines. They have forestry equipment. They have, it's amazing. I'll show you some of the stuff they have in here. It does go a little beyond just simple farming. So now, I can keep going this way, but I want to go get that. And hey, again, this thing filled up. Right now, it's only at 36%, so you can kind of get a little bit of the efficiency there based on, I had a full load. I'm now a third of the way filled up with this one, and a full load being $1,000. My money is going down rapidly right now. That's fuel being burned by all my equipment, and that's also paying the wages of the 1, 2, 3 workers that I have going right now. I could do this all manually myself. If I didn't want to hire a worker, I could be running the combine. There are certain tasks that you can hire a worker. This specific task I'm doing right now, picking up with the forage wagon, I have no ability to hire a worker to do this task. It is on me. That's why I'm doing this and have the other guys doing the other tasks. If you look down there, you're going to see the guy who's doing the sowing, the seeding, he's actually stopped. And that's because I left my pickup truck in his path. And he's just going, okay, well, I'm obstructed. He's got his light flashing, telling me there's a problem, but I'm not paying attention. So what I could do is get down to the end here, and then switch over to my pickup truck, and get it out of the way. And now he'll carry on with what he was doing. You can see the light starting to flash on the Combine. That's telling me that he's at 90% full. So he's going to need to dump that really quickly here. So now it gets back to, and this is where, there is some management going on. I got to wonder, okay, well, this guy's still doing this, but I need that tractor. If I had money to buy another tractor, I could have left that one ready, but I don't. So I got to come over here, and I got to quickly switch to my trailer. And then I can prepare to go unload that Combine so that he finishes, because I need to move him over to that field when it's ready. So I'll come over here and just be at the ready, waiting on him. You can see he's turning around. And he really only has 2 more passes before he's done. I'm trying to remember how to get in. Oh, he's done. Alright, so he's filled up. Now I need to get back in that trailer. Go pick him up. I have to go on the side that has that attachment, which is on this side. And when I get there, he'll extend it. And I just need to get under it. And he's filling me up. Not that worried about the straw, so if that guy keeps going, I'm more worried about getting that field done than I am that straw. And I did pick this one up in the middle, and I could have been a little more efficient to not have any waste at all. I could stop my workers, but I'm trying to clear that field because I know that one's going to be ready fairly soon. Now, do I expect you to sit here and watch that field grow nonstop? I'm going to do something that's really not very smart for the game, but let's go over here. Alright, here we go. So this gives you an idea of all the different things within the game, all the different types of things you can actually purchase. So starting off with harvesters, you have a ton of different harvesters to choose from, and they work their way up to 430,000. Moving on, here are the headers for the harvesters, or the Combines. These are forage harvesters versus the other type. Potato harvesting, beet harvesting, tippers. This is when you unload your unloaders, basically. Auger wagons, plows, cultivators, sowing machines. Those are for seeding. You have all sorts of different fertilizer sprayers. These are fertilizer spreaders, manure spreaders. You can pick up manure, so if you have livestock, you can get their manure and use it instead of fertilizer. It just goes on and on. Here are mowers for grass. Those are wind winders to catch and collect all the grass. This is the forage wagon. You can see this is the one that I was using. It's tiny. They get huge when you get up. 131,000 versus 31,000. Again, I only have $18,000. I can't afford half of the stuff that we're looking at here. Chainsaws, because yeah, there is logging. Here's your logging equipment. Teleloaders, steer loaders. It just, again, there's a lot of different equipment. And if you're into machinery, if you're into trucks, if you're into farm vehicles, it's sort of a lesson. And I mean, honestly, I didn't know much about a lot of this stuff, but I've sort of always been curious. I always liked big machinery. And it's cool seeing all that here in this game. So, I mean, I can go on and do more and more crops. There's your in-car view. So you can drive from inside the car or tractor. And again, I can hook up a steering wheel. I've used a steering wheel, but it's really not that needed. So, and then if I change vehicles, here's what it looks like being inside of the big Combine. And you can look around, do all sorts of stuff. There's actually Cytec makes a wheel that actually has this side panel built into it. That would be kind of cool. Maybe I should try to get that and do a review on it. These guys are still working the farm. And let's go back to trying to advance time here. There we go. Okay, now I found speed up time. There we go. So I'm going to speed up time real quick here. so that you can get an idea. That you can see up in the top, you just had a wage payment. So now we're just kind of waiting. I mean, I could start that side of the field and wait on this to grow. And when I talked about sometimes you are just waiting and letting things grow. My other field, it's done. I mean, I finished harvesting it. I still can unload the trailer and do that. I still had straw left on the field that I could have picked up. But in a few minutes, I'll get a notice that the cultivator is done with its work. A few minutes after that, I'll get notice that the seeder is done with its work, and I'll bring that equipment. And right now, what I really should be doing as I wait on my crops to change is I should be bringing over my other equipment. So not my pickup truck, but like this cultivator, it needs to be at the ready. So here is the field we're looking at, and I'll stay in car view or in tractor view. And now I'm going across the part of the crop that hasn't. And you can see a lot of dirt. This didn't grow very well because I didn't do any fertilizer. And this is because this is a brand new game and I don't even own fertilizer equipment just yet on this particular round I'm playing. There are 2 different map scenarios on this one. And so let's see here. So just basically, I mean, I'm just going to show you real quick because what I could do is I can now turn on my combine. And now I start chewing up my field. You want to go in straight lines as straight as possible. It makes it more efficient. And that is an art in its own. So when I hire a worker, I've noticed that they don't miss much. And they lay really nice rows of hay behind them. And they clean up the field in as little work as possible. I'm not as good, so if I do a whole field and you're low on money, do you really want to hire a worker? And I can come back out of camera and you can see what's going on there. So you can do either view, the out of car, in car view. And I'm just using my my keyboard, holding down W to go forward. There is a cruise control that I can use. And when you get to the end, you just kind of have to do a turnaround. So we'll come around this way. And we're going to need to back up just a little bit to get it right. And now we want to come down and just cut right on the edge of where we did our first cut. Now we're farming, huh? And again, I can hit H, hire a worker. Now he's taking over. That guy's still doing that. You can see he's turning that straw into the dirt. He's still seeding. He's about halfway done. Here's my other one. Now let's go ahead and kick up time as fast as it'll go because I just want you to see what happens as you're waiting. So right now, let's just say this whole field was that green. We're just waiting, and you're going to see it grow through another stage, and it'll probably turn brown, and that means it's actually ready to. So when I talk about this being the kind of game, I mean, like right now, I could go handle another project, keep an eye over here watching that field turn brown. I can sit here watching a movie and just waiting on that crop, and, other than the picking up straw and dumping the trailers, I can hire workers to do most of the work. So again, I'm not trying to say it's super exciting. There is something about this that has driven me to play a lot of hours. I think for me, there is efficiency to it, and when you get things really dialed in, you'll get more out of your crops. So if you're like monitoring how did it do this season versus next season, I think, are we starting to convert? Are we starting to switch? Nope. Sorry. I thought I saw it kind of boom over one. Oh, there we go. So that is now, I'm going to slow down time, back down to regular time, and let's just jump out of our vehicle. Whoops. Jump out of our vehicle, and look at our beautiful field ready to harvest. And that combine's now going. So, anyway, that's Farm Simulator. I mean, I could go on and do other things, but really it's planting, growing, harvesting, taking your product to market, buying new equipment, buying bigger fields, and then repeat the entire process over and over again. My fields are not growing great because I'm not fertilizing them. So I want to get fertilizing equipment so I can get twice as much yield out of these crops potentially. That'll help me save up for that bigger combine, which will have a wider header, and it'll take care of that field that much quicker. Or when I get a bigger field, it'll do it in a reasonable time. Or I could run 2 combines on one field, one at each end, and hire a worker for both of them, as long as I'm there to pick up when they fill up. So again, this is Farm Simulator. I got this on Steam, not terribly expensive, and just again, one of those diversion games. So let's go ahead and bring this to a close. Let me shut this down, and I'll give you some final thoughts on my 3 favorite diversion games. So as I mentioned at the beginning, I think we're all gamers at heart, or at least I can speak for myself. I have been a gamer since I was a little kid. I grew up on video games, and I play them for fun, and I always have. But when it comes to sim racing, whether you call it a hobby or a sport, it's something I train for. It's something I take very seriously. I put a lot of energy and effort into things that go way beyond just the driving the sim, but looking into setup, looking into the best equipment, and doing all that kind of stuff. But diversion games are the kind of things that I just want to be able to do to blow off some steam, to not take things or life too seriously, just to get back to that spirit of gaming. And all 3 of these games, I have to confess, I'm an amateur. I'm a beginner at all of these. I mean, World of Warships, I get killed all the time. I think I'm okay, but there are guys who are masters of that game. But I do like its strategic aspects of it. When it comes to Planet Coaster, I see artists, these guys who build unbelievable parks and rides and coasters and things. And I mean, I can never compete on that level, but that game does allow me to, again, have that strategic gameplay that I like when it comes to my video gaming. And then on top of it, I think it's kind of fun. It's in a good, jovial spirit, and it's that kind of a game. And I do enjoy having games that I can do other projects on the side, and that kind of takes us to Farm Simulator, which, again, you're watching crops grow. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. Again, it's got this strategy. You've got to plan, you got to prepare, you got to execute your plan to maximize things. And I think for me, and I guess that's what I'm really learning about myself in doing a piece like this, as I've become an adult, it's not the Mario Brothers and the hopping around picking up tokens. For me, it comes down to strategy. It comes down to games that let me, they're all kind of simulations still. They're just not racing simulations, but it allows me to kind of go and do something that I don't get to do every day, whether it be manage an amusement park or run a farm or be in the Navy, something that I never did. So again, and I'm not, if I was in the Navy, this is not the version of Navy that I would want to be in as well. So the reason I did do this show, again, in the off season, I find myself playing these games more. I do play them all year long, but what I really want to know is, most of the people who watch this show, they are sim racing fans. They are hardcore sim racers. But I think a lot of you are also gamers at heart. So what kind of games do you play? Or maybe you do play Mario Brothers, and I'm not trying to put any games above or below, especially when we're talking diversion games for me, because again, they're in the name of the fun. They're in the name of killing time or just being that gamer at heart. So please chime in with this video on the comments. Let me know what games do you play. Maybe you have a game that you think I should be trying out just for the fun of it, or maybe you'll give one of these a try. I am certainly not pitching any of them. I think they all had their qualities, and again, this wasn't a review. This was just sort of showing you, at least in my mind, what I think is a fun game to play when I'm not sim racing. So I hope you have enjoyed this show. I know it was off the beaten path of what we normally cover, and I'm hoping that if you didn't have interest in this, you tuned out a long time ago. I'm sorry that it did run long, but I figured for a first look at some of these types of games, if you did have an interest, that maybe you would want to see the intricacies of how it worked, whether it was a free game that you might want to pursue, or whether it's a game you might have to spend a few bucks for. But you know, we're talking $40, $50 games, not a big step up, and I didn't need any hardware beyond my computer for any of these, so no additional cost. So I hope you did enjoy this show. I hope you will put your comments in with this video, just so we all get an idea what we think are cool, fun games to play, and maybe some sim racers will have something in that gaming direction to do other than their hardcore sim racing that they're doing all this time. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you in a boat, on a roller coaster, in a tractor,